Welcome to Beaded Doilies by Shell. In this video we are going to be connecting our large triangles together to create our pyramid. With this design you'll be making your pyramid two different ways. You'll make 3 of them using this pattern and 3 of them using this pattern. The bead count for the beads needed to do the pyramid and finish connecting the kaleidocycle together is 384. I will be using a dark red for mine. This other color is for these little marks, which I will show you. You might be able to see here I have added a little extra beading here, and that is used when we go to hinge the pyramids together. Now, for the beading of the large triangles side to side, you'll need about 1.5 feet when using the 4mm faceted beads, and about 14 inches with the 8/0 seed beads. Now here, I have already sewn together 2 sides, as it's done exactly the same way. I went ahead and sewn together 2 of them. We will sew together this one here, and then of course the last one when we make the actual pyramid. Now, once you finish sewing together 2 of the sides, you'll want to lay down your piece and make sure it still matches your diagram. Now this one, there is no set center, but if you have a design that the center is different from the other 2 sides, you want to make sure that you put the centers in the correct place on your diagram. The same design will go on top, and then the same second, and then third and fourth. So this, as you can see, we're using this diagram here. We'll make 3 pyramids with this diagram, 3 pyramids with this diagram. Alright, now to start, you'll take your string and you'll add 1 of your beads to it. Let it drop. Then you'll take your loose pyramid and you'll go through the 2 side beads. There we go. And then on the pyramid you are connecting to, you will go through the 2 side beads that match. Bring your strings together, and now you'll take 1 bead and cross it. And then you'll just continue that 2 side beads and cross all the way until you reach the end of your 2 sides. the last one, the only difference is you will be adding your knot. So you'll put it on one string, tie your knot, and you'll slip it inside the bead. And pull tight. Then I like to thread back 2 cross beads, so you go through 2 beads on each side, just like you did coming down. And then cross a bead. And then repeat. Having trouble with this. There it goes. And then cross. And trim off the excess. And just like with each time you want to set out, make sure you've laid it all out correctly. Now, before we do the 4th sewing together, because here we have done 3, well, there's a total of 4. Before we do the 4th one, I recommend that you add some beads to remind you where the hinges go. This is very helpful. So just anywhere on this side, I usually do the 2 beads in from the end, and about the center I just take, then I put on 3 beads. Oops. And do 1 on each side, and then we'll do a knot. Now this knot you don't want to make real tight, you just want to make the knot so that the beads are loosely held in place. I still put it inside the bead because it helps the knot from coming undone. And then you just leave them there loosely because you just want them loosely held in place. If you find the string gets in your way, you can just clip off some of it. Doesn't matter if it shows. So that is for this one. And now we'll do one over here for this one. Like I said, about the center, and I go in about 1. And we add 3 beads. And tie a knot. And this can just be a scrap piece of string that you are able to work with. If it's too short, you won't be able to do what you need to do. But as long as it's long enough for you to work with it, it should work just fine for this part. Cut off the little pieces. Now when we go to hinge our triangles together, we'll be able to find where the hinges go easy enough. Now we're going to close up our triangle and add the 4th set of stitches. So with some pyramids, you don't have a support, so you might accidentally fold it the wrong way and end up with this design instead of this design. Of course, if you've added these little beads here, that will help you. If you don't have support, you remember that these go on the outside. But with support, you can easily see that this is the inside of your pyramid, so you would just fold it up like this, and then you'll close up this side here. Well, it looks like I have made a slight mistake. Instead of 4 times, you actually do it 6 times, because I now see I haven't done one in a while. Sorry about that. You'll also need to close up these other 2 sides once you have sewn together this side here. Those 2 sides will be done exactly the same way as this one. So that will be a total of 6 times you will be stitching sides together. Still exactly the same process, which is you'll add 1 bead, you'll go through 2 side beads on the one, and then 2 side beads on the other one. Then you'll cross a bead. Then you'll go through the next 2 side beads on each side. This, of course, is slightly more difficult because it's awkward, but otherwise it's the same stitch. And then the last 2. And here we will add bead and do our knot. So as you can see, stitching up the sides is exactly the same, whether it's laying flat or in pyramid shape. So I had said 4 times earlier, but it's actually 6. You'll need to now do this one and this one here to have your pyramid completely closed up, but you'll just follow the exact same process, and after the knot, again, go back through 2 cross beads. Like I said, it's a little more awkward because your piece is closed up. You just wiggle it until you can get your string through the way you want to. Of course, if you are a needle user, the needle will force the beads into position much easier. I do not like needles, so I prefer to work without needles. And then you clip off your excess. And after you do your other two sides, you will have a completely closed up pyramid like I have here. In the next video, we will go through the same process, but we will do the opposite diagram so that you can see that one done as well. You will want to keep your two types of pyramids separate and make sure you have 3 of each, because then when you go to sew them together, you can take one from each pile and sew them together as you need to. I hope to see you in the next video.